Or am I too quiet?
Okay, there you are. Cool. So yeah, we're about ready now, and we're actually live on YouTube as I speak.
Oh, cool. Is it 7 yet? Oh, it's almost 7.
I'm gonna play a little bit of music just so we can.
Quick question. Sorry about this. This is kind of late.
Sure.
If we connected our laptop to a Bluetooth speaker, do you think that would fuck with our sound? It's just like hard to hear you guys off the laptop. So
No, the laptop has a separate output or separate setting for output and input. So the output setting or the input setting shouldn't be affected by you connecting a Bluetooth speaker.
okay, cool. Okay, tight. Awesome. Thank you so much.
It's like fire alarm thing. Who's like smoke detectors going?
You hear something?
Do you guys hear that? Like every now
I heard it too. I heard it too.
Okay, tight. Awesome. Thank you so much.
I might be guilty.
It's all
Just
good.
being honest.
It's all good. I was just wondering where it was coming from. I mean,
I don't have time to just take it out.
we're fine. For the most part, yeah, there was. For the most part, I think like everyone's gonna be muted unless like you're talking, so it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Should we mute ourselves now?
If you want, you can. I don't think it's a big deal though. Well, I think Ismail has the power to mute everyone when the time comes.
All right. Hello, everyone. Greetings and salutations to all who are currently listening. My name is Ismail Gonzalez, also known as Commander Zerg at KUCR, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the second event in a series of socially distant music and culture performances known as FM Live. This program is presented by the listener supported and student powered radio station KUCR based at the University of California, Riverside. With me, we have fellow KUCR DJs and staff members Sarah Bazzi, Kristen Valdez, and Precious Fasikin. Hi, guys. How are you guys?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
Cool. All right. And
Pretty
joining us,
good. How's everybody?
Doing all right.
joining us today, we have musical performances from Cam Gnarly, Eric Indigo, and Sal Fist. Poetry performances from Ashley Diaz, Efren Castro, some featured art from Mariah Green, and a very special and informative discussion on the current political climate here in America, as well as around the world, later in the event with Angel of the Queer Coalition, Yoslin, co-founder of Black Lives Matter IE, Dr. Regina Stell, president of the NAACP in Riverside, and yeah, hello everyone. How are you guys? Just hi. um, I would like I would also like to mention that we have a lovely audience of remote participants watching from YouTube Live, where anyone can submit a question to our guest during this event. Please be sure to follow us on social media at KUCR 88.3 FM and visit kucr.org for the latest updates and events on new content. On behalf of everyone at KUCR, we would like to sincerely wish that we could meet under better circumstances. We all miss seeing our lovely supporters and our in-person events such as FM Live or FM Nights, excuse me. We recognize the turbulence and turmoil that the world is currently in, and we hope to shed light on some important issues tonight. For some context, the United States is currently in its 21st week of quarantine since the emergence of the coronavirus pandemic back in March. Over 150,000 Americans have perished from succumbing to the virus, and a million more are facing infection. Over the past couple months, we also have the reemergence of Black Lives Matter as a movement, and which was sparked by the murder of George Floyd. And now, currently in America, over all 50 states, there have been protests happening, as well as all around the world. The opinions here expressed tonight do not speak on behalf of KUCR, the University of California, Riverside, nor the Regents of the University of California. But with that, I would like to bring to the spotlight Mariah Green, our featured artist for tonight. Hello, Mariah. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's very nice to speak to you. We're gonna go ahead and just introduce you, and then speak about perhaps your most latest piece of art, and what inspired you for that. So, can you please tell us how you got your background into art?
So I've been hands-on making stuff since I was elementary school. I'd always be in my backyard making houses out of sticks and sand and and then my brother he was the first one that got me like one of these like Lisa Frank to go coloring books with like matching markers, and that's when I really started enjoying the usage of colors and putting them together. So that was when I really started. Throughout high school is when I noticed uh, the urgency for Black people to be represented a lot more, whether they're the ones creating the art or the people putting the artists together for shows. So that's when I started getting more interested into curating. Um, yeah. And then as for my recent mural pieces that were in downtown Riverside, one is still up at Urge Palette, and that one was a collaboration between, I believe, five local artists, and it was all in response to the Black Lives Matter protests. And then another recent one was at Graham's Barbecue. If you haven't had Graham's Barbecue, I highly suggest going to get some Graham's Barbecue. My piece is now inside of the restaurant along with Maurice's and another artist named Eloa. And then I actually just recently got approved to do a mural on 4th Street at that liquor store that currently has the piece where it's like a homeless gentleman and he's receiving a flower. They're going to be covering that up, and it's going to be about me and 2 other artists that are going to collaborate on that, and I'm really excited for that.
That sounds
But
wonderful.
yeah, all these paintings though do have to deal with the deferment of African American dreamers and the lack of respect in a way, and kind of the response to that. So the colors I use and the lines and the certain glares that I use in my work all represent this otherization. And so that's representative of the ignition for the Black Lives Matter protest and movement currently as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you said your latest pieces have been murals, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so just to let our audience know, we'll be checking in with Moran throughout the event, talking about her other pieces of artwork. And just for now, we'll introduce Christian. Christian, hello, Christian. He's a fellow DJ staff member at KUCR, and I'm gonna hand it over to him.
Hello, Ismail. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who's watching. We really appreciate that. You're here supporting and here supporting everybody that's here. KUCR, the way I see it, and most of us at the station, is an apex for the community. We're like a diverging point where different voices and different people and different opinions can come and share their thoughts. And so that's the point of tonight's event. And so with that being said, we're going to start off with a poet who goes to UCR. And her name is Ashley Diaz. And Ashley, where are you at? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. My name is Ashley Diaz. I'm a queer, non-binary Chicanx poet. Should I go with all my intro or just a brief
yeah,
intro?
Why not?
I'm from the border communities of Calexico, California, Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. Fourth year UCR student. Been writing since I was little. And yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you for joining us. So we have here, it says your first zine poetry book, Con la Luna en la Cabeza, is out now with stickers and handmade by you. Where would people be able to find that?
Yes, actually, one of our fellow poets who's here as well taught me how to like do a zine. Give me a second. And it's like a PDF version of a whole like poetry version of my art. And this one is my first one. I think it has like 8 or 9 poems. It's all done by me, edited by me.
Very nice. DIY is definitely our favorite mode. So with that, I would like to have you begin your poetry, and then afterwards maybe have a small discussion about your influences and just maybe some of the context of your poems, depending on what you decide to read. But with that, I'm going to let you take the floor.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I'm going to start with Sin Fronteras. Excuse me, there's no translation to this piece. And you can find it in my second zine. So let me start. Sin Fronteras. Soy sin fronteras. Soy hija, semilla y fruto de 2 cachanillas. También soy el modelo real. No se confundan, pues no dije modelo a seguir. Modelo real y hermana de 2 florecitas. Soy la nieta que gracias a Dios y al universo se aprendió las recetas de su abuela antes de que se nos fuera. Soy mujer, soy hombre, soy ceja de látigo, bigote de estropajo, con labios rojos que te encienden, te rompen. Soy la primera que dejó su casa para continuar en la escuela. Primera generación, la hija que sí terminó la secundaria, la prepa. Soy frontera norteña, la que viene de Chicali y Calesia. Soy los ojos que cargan las injusticias de este sistema, pero también soy la carne en vida que encaja la espina a todos nuestros hermanos de Centroamérica en la frontera sureña. Soy el pochismo que no se detiene al decir el so en cada oración, aunque sea la burla de la casa porque mis abuelos son fluidos en el español. Soy sin fronteras, multiusos, traductora, cocinera y curandera. Me dicen, ya estás lista para casarte, pero cuando mi ira, mis piedras, al hilo de la locura los queman, se comen sus propios tacos de lengua y mi independencia, mi ego, se toman de la mano para recordarme que soy chingona, que soy mía, así, real a mí, sin fronteras.
Thank you very much. Does
Thank
that
you,
one have I'm guessing has a title?
Yeah, Soy Sin Fronteras.
Soy Sin Fronteras.
Yeah.
So for those of us who don't speak Spanish, fronteras is border, and you grew up in Imperial Valley, correct?
Yes, exactly.
So that's very close to our southern border, and a border as a sign of division, as a geographical line that separates 2 places, dividing people. How has that affected you growing up there? leaving there, coming to Riverside, and I know you're back now, right? Because of COVID. Yeah. So
Yeah.
how has that transition affected you, and how has it influenced your writing? Growing up so close to such a divisive place that is literally split in two.
You're not gonna believe me, but when you're a kid, when you're so close to it, you don't question it. It was only until I left to UCR or Riverside, where I moved, that I started questioning the division. It was so normal to have undocumented family members. It was so normal to have your parent live in one side, your mom in the other. Until right now, it started to be a bit more violent concerning security or border patrols and all that thing, but you didn't question it. It's funny that it's not only like a physical border that I refer to in my poetry, but a mental border, like that intersectionality between my identity, my gender, my language, my communities. So that's what I try to really address within that piece. And yeah, so from now on, trying to end that division with everything that I have.
Beautiful. Thank you. Do you have any other poetry you'd like to share?
Yes, I do.
Please.
This one is a bit more Spanglish. It's called Ode to the $1 iced tea del Donut Avenue. The $1 iced tea from Donut Avenue is the best deal you can get. Yeah, it might taste like agua de trapeador with a fusion of glaze, pero TBH, there's nothing else in Calesia that will take away the dehydration from the valley's heat waves. The crushed ice, el salpicado de limón, te prometo, el iced tea ese te quita en chinga el calorón. The $1 iced tea from Donut Avenue is sacred. Es agua bendita. It's a healthy antidefensa casi igual que la vitamina C que te da tu abuelita. With the homies, tea. After the ditch, tea. La suegra tiene calor, tea. La graduación de tu hermano menor, tea. There might be some bougie ass organic tea, but the $1 iced tea from Donut Avenue shall never need to compete.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
Definitely the little enjoyments in life, especially the local ones.
Exactly. Like there's nothing, I love my city and everything, but there's nothing here in Calexico. So appreciating those like small shops, especially local, like you mentioned, it's sacred.
And that's what KUCR is here for. And that's the nature of this event, is local, DIY, community sponsored. And I just want to say from a poetic perspective, I enjoyed your use of rhythm and meter. And I like the way that you were able to rhyme the English and the Spanish.
Thank you, thank you.
Do you have any other poetry you'd like to share?
Yes, we're gonna change the mood into a bit more sad. This is called Mi mamá me dijo que. Les va. My mom told me to avoid texting you so you would miss me. So you would appreciate what it feels to be adored. And you would wonder where my devotion to your voice went. She told me, when women stop trying, we are noticed by men. She told me, uno nunca sabe lo que tiene hasta que lo pierde. Give him time. But fuck time. Fuck this burning feeling of tequila on my throat and the pain of hiding myself, hiding my brightness for you to be the shadow that gives me worth. I don't want to have dreams of you dreaming with me. I don't want to keep sipping in the question, is he thinking about me? And half of me knows my worth. But the other one just pours into my cup a little more. My sanity's getting worse. My anxiety's feeding off my skin, my brain, my soul. All my thoughts are going crazy. They're escaping and immortalizing this feeling of emptiness, making me enemies with my paper and pen. Chaos in its climax. I'm drunk of words and pain in my bed. The dissonance hits and makes me remember that the one thing my mom forgot to explain is that I would be a bit more broken because I'm the one who ended up missing you more than yesterday.
That was powerful.
Thank you. I
know. As a woman who identifies as a woman and Chicana at the same time, I know as a Chicano person, like often caught in between worlds, and for you that's more of a physical manifestation. But it feels like, at least, from my own personal perspective, that I was never Mexican enough and I was never American enough. So you're kind of caught somewhere in the middle. But as a woman, and as someone who was going into that poem and talking about those feelings, how does that intersect?
It's and that's what I mean by fighting like all those mental borders and like living in that intersectionality. But specifically in this piece, it's fucked up. Like sit this way, talk this way, approach this way, not too far, not too close. Like all these mental borders again. And it goes back to this cultural like machismo perspective in life.
Exactly.
And fighting it's a trip, honestly, especially within my dad's side of the family. It's always like, why am I gonna stay quiet like in Christmas dinner when like no, like I know this is wrong. Like even if it brings even a bigger debate within my family members, which I love, I feel that it's my duty. And I know it can be like laborious sometimes, but I feel that it's my duty to always fight it and not stay quiet because we've been told to. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Machismo is something that's deeply embedded in Latino cultures, and it's something that someone who identifies as a man, I'm speaking to anybody else out there who identifies as a man in this community, machismo is a big problem. We need to step down from that pedestal of ego and respect our women and respect our elders. So thank you so much for sharing that, Ashley, and thank you so much for sharing your poetry. It was beautiful and well written and well spoken.
Thank you so much again for your time. If you want to reach out, Pedazos de mi Alma, my poetry Insta, and thank you again.
And before we leave, are there any other projects you're working on or things you'd like to discuss?
Yes. So like this, con el en la cabeza, I have a second version, but it's called Mis Noches Sin Tus Días. Unfortunately, because of COVID and all that thing, I don't have a physical copy. However, I'm selling PDFs of it. It's copyrighted and all that, so we good with that. Yeah, and reach me out through my Instagram. That's pretty much it.
Thank you again, Ashley, so much.
Thank you.
And with that, I'm going to be passing it to Snazzy Bazzy. How you doing, Bazzy?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm DJ Snazzy Bazzy. And thank you, Ashley. That was so beautiful. I was very happy to hear it. And you have such an eloquent way of expressing yourself. And you could really feel the passion. I mean, I know it sucks like being on the internet to like, you know, express your art and stuff. I personally have a hard time with it, but you did not make that transition difficult at all. I definitely still felt your spirit here on this side of the internet. But yeah, thank you so much. And up next, we have two of my dear friends, Eric and Shao Fist, Eric Indigo and Shao Fist, ready to perform for us.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're here. You know, we haven't performed in months, so.
I know. We went from performing every week in Ubers, performing like not performing in like 4 months.
It's almost been like 6, I feel like.
Oh my goodness. I don't even have any concept of time anymore. I don't know about you guys. It doesn't exist at all anymore.
But, you know, we're happy to be out here with KUCR. It's a beautiful event.
Thank
all
you.
These great artists and these people ready to speak.
Yes.
Some great things people need to hear about. I hope you're ready to learn and be educated.
So you guys are doing 2 separate performances, right?
Nah, we're gonna share it because we're bros.
Okay.
So we're gonna just share this time with you guys. You know what I mean? Just do what we can. I can't say I've been cooking too much. You know, the world's kind of crazy, but like, I mean, I'm gonna just do what we can. We're just glad to be here, really. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Before you guys start, you guys want to introduce yourselves, your names, what groups you're a part of, anything like that?
I'm Shao Fist of Foreign Native, one part of Foreign Native and one part of International Waters.
Yeah, shout out to Game Time. I don't know the mic, it's all good. But I'm Eric Indigo on everything, Eric Indigo _. Part of all the same groups and shit. You can go get our last shit on all platforms, Winter Olympics. And yeah, this is that new shit. And go follow Black Lives Matter IE too, because that's the only thing I care about right now in terms of, I don't know who to really get information for in terms of protests and shit, but if you want any, and you live in the IE,
get it from them.
That's the place.
Yeah,
just
throw it out there
or anything else. Yeah.
For sure. Cool. All right. Well, whenever you guys are ready to perform, go ahead.
All right. So we're gonna kick off with some new shit. Just offer it, just because. Yeah. All right. Let's do it. Shout out Tyler Brinley for a beat. Hey, I said, fuck what y'all talking about. I shit. Fuck what y'all been talking about. Nigga, I'm a beast. Hey. Who the fuck y'all niggas is talking? I know listening in, see you trying to stuff it broke. All my niggas know it's me. This shit gon' run in again. Smoke it till I'm level ahead. Shit up on my shoulder, grinding harder than I ever been. Ain't no time to hesitate. See that shit I'm finna take. It's time on vision to the plate. I done put the work and paid the path for all my people, where there's greener on the other side. Tired to see my mama cry, hate to see my niggas hungry. Niggas trying to feed the plan, structure execute the plan. Fuck about faith, we getting rhyme bang and mean, nigga. Told you we gon' eat, nigga. He just told me I ain't shit. My family, I can see the doubt, but I can let my mama down. This shit been bigger than me, nigga. This on your way, y'all have been laid. We not the same. What the fuck do y'all speak before y'all niggas even think? That's some dumb shit. Ignorance be bliss. That's some dumb shit. What the fuck y'all even talking about? What the fuck y'all niggas talking about? Y'all ain't even mean nothing. Nigga, I'm a beat. Yeah. Shout out to everybody for the beat. It's a fire. It's great, you know. That's like the newest shit that I could probably. You know.
I got a question before you go into the next song.
What's up?
So you said that was a newer song, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel like you have been impacted in terms of like making music and making art since the pandemic and since the Black Lives Matter movement really sprung off? Do you feel like that's put a hindrance like on your creativity, or do you feel more like
I feel like it's like more of like I feel like kind of stunted, like there's inspiration there, but I feel like I personally have just been gaining that to like start up again. Like I was just too busy being out there on the streets and just, you know, and in my own head. Can't write music when you're focused on the important shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's hard to translate sometimes without like knowing exactly how you feel. You know, like a lot happened really fast, and there's like a lot of things you want to talk about, but like as like an artist, you know, like sometimes like you can put something out and that shit could affect you forever. You know, like, you just don't want to say the wrong thing. So I'm just more like taking my time with it. Like,
yeah.
And if I feel I want to write about it, I will. But,
I've
had a lot to say about it. It's not all music, but I mean, there's definitely a lot to say. I don't want to put anything like on wax, you know, necessarily. So
I get you. At this point, I feel like people are discouraged from taking time to process, you know, and like it's important to remember that sometimes you just need to feel it and be in it before you go out producing art and producing music. But I mean, everybody's different. But I was just wondering how you guys were processing it, but.
I feel like we were all just like kind of taking that step back just to do exactly that, you know, just like, because I mean, we all know nothing great is going to come from force shit, from like us at least, like, you know, like it's natural for us. So like if we're forcing it, it's, you know what I mean? Like we're not going to feel it.
It's not going to be right.
Yeah, it's just not, you know, so.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all getting back to that place now, which is nice. It's really nice. Like we're all like, you know, between foreign and international waters, we're all getting back in touch. It's nice. It's nice.
That's good. I'm glad to hear.
yeah, you know,
Yeah, not physically. You know, I haven't been able to hug my niggas, but.
Aw. Well, hopefully the day will come soon. Whenever you're ready for your next song, we're ready for you.
So this track right here, some of y'all know this, but you've never heard this version. I mean, like, you know, live stream, I just felt like doing something different. So let's get it. Hey. Fucking down in a dream, I got family to eat. Some niggas trapped in the streets. The world falling at my feet, but I'm 10 toes. Through the pressure, the walls won't fall. I'm keeping cozy when the world cold. Heart racing, but the time slow. I'm chucking 40s just to find hope, just a glimpse. That's all I need. Put some ease on the stress on my mind.
Pray I ain't wasting my time on this rap shit. No other option. I need this to happen. Mama still hurting from grandma passing. She need a son, but I'm too busy rapping. Selfish. Stuck in my ways. Ain't see the family to work on some things. Can't let them see me like this. Family broken, need a fix. I'm in pieces. Nigga, I'm sick and calling for help, but the service ain't reaching. Searching for help. Shit been the same. Stuck in a loop. What should I do? Shit been the same. Shit been the same. I'm taking these shoes, disappear for the day. Searching for something, don't know what it is. Lost. As soon as he found. This shit is moving. We ain't stopping now. Let that shit bounce. Let that shit. Hey, I don't know. Fuck a dollar in the drain. I got family to eat. My niggas trapped in the streets. Yeah. That was cool. That was fun. That was fun. You know. This is fun. I haven't done music in a long time. Nice.
Yeah, I haven't heard your voice in a long time, so it's so nice to hear.
Like, this is the Chambers mic too, so this is like the closest we're gonna get to it.
I got another question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on. What's up?
I feel like a lot of the times, specifically when you rap, you're talking about this struggle between wanting to escape and like searching for something more, and then feeling like you need to be grounded in reality and like take care of your family and your problems. And do you feel like this moment, like 2020, has changed your perspective on feeling like you need to be grounded? Because I know that now, you know, we're forced to see a lot of reality. I feel like we're not distracted by like going to parties or being with friends, going out. We don't have a lot of distractions around us. We're forced to look at the ugly nature of like reality, our government, our life. Do you feel like that's affected you in any way, and like your music and your thoughts on it?
For sure. Like, I feel like I've been like way too in touch with like reality lately. It's it's like one, you know, we already can't do anything. So we can't even go out and do some shit that we would usually do to like get out of that space or whatever and to escape. But like there's nothing there, you know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, like all I can do right now is just like assert my energy into things that I know are right and what deserve it, you know, like people I love, this movement, you know, like speaking up, using my voice, uplifting others, like, you know, that's just all I can do right now. So, I mean, that for sure is just always the thing that pops up in my music, because it's just something that I've dealt with like forever. But like right now, it's for sure like I gotta be like, I feel like I have to be like more 10 toes. Like I gotta be solid, like on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're needed. We're needed. You know, like everybody's needed right now. So.
For sure. Thank you for speaking on that. Not sure if I worded that right, but you definitely.
No, that was it. You good at this. Don't question yourself. You good at this. Is what you do. What's that? What's up? You got to hop on the mic. You got to do a single. No, you can do a single.
We got Eric Indigo up next.
Music, man. Yeah, I'm gonna do some shit. This is supposed to be like with the homie, and now it's not. It's by myself. It's pretty dope. I love this beat, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it too, man. It doesn't have a title either. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I'm gonna run it. Yeah. Hey. Most things, those are praying, I'm taking action. I ain't the captain, no getting you cooler than your freezer. Don't leave the house, but would appreciate the invitation. Sometimes I do what I don't wanna. People pleaser, purple people even zooming past my window. Ask me for a hit, he didn't even have no ends though. Moving silence, you know the science, my team behind me. We heard some lip, like you blowing smoke and you clean behind me.
My niggas Teflon tough, your niggas toilet tissue. Smoking beer, but you rapping about that design on you. These niggas lying on you. I can see the truth from a lie. Get high, I'm pushing weight to sell the clouds to the sky. The only way that you can stop me is drop me. Every cigarette and the nail is close to coffee. The only way that you can stop me, drop me. Every cigarette and the nail is close to coffee. Yeah, that's it for that one.
Thank you. It sounded great.
Yeah, I'm gonna like that shit. Section of technicals. It's produced by the homie Brandon.
We actually have a question from a viewer. It's for Shao. You want to go ahead?
What's up? What's up?
Oh, it's for Shao and Eric, actually. My bad. Brought him right back into frame. Okay. It says, where do you draw inspiration from, both musically and non-musically?
What's the question? Inspiration?
From musically and non-musically.
Whoa. That's a good question. Fuck.
I'll keep it simple. I'll keep it short, sweet. Like musically, like fuck, Earl, Lupe, Isaiah Rashad, like right. I'm like non-musically, Dylan Reader, R.I.P. It's my guy. Shit. I don't even know. Like I can't even figure it all out right now. But that's it. That's it for me. There you go.
Inspiration. In general, I'm inspired by just like real life, you know what I mean? Like the experiences you go through and just like the people you meet, like just tend to like inspire you, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of outside sources you can say like whatever you watch and shit, but that's like pretty like minuscule in terms of like my inspiration personally. Like I'm more inspired by like the things I see, like the things I go through personally, and the things the people around me go through, like inspire me and like make me want to do better at the end of the day. And musically, I mean, like I just like anything that's like fucking like good, you know. I can't even like put it in words, but like it's everyone's shit's gonna be different. But I don't know, like fuck, like this is just really good music, the goosebump shit, you know what I mean? Like I just try to find how I can like give other people that feeling, you know what I mean? Like just try to like transpire that through my own music, not necessarily sounding like anyone else or to do something, but like try to find the key points that make me like that shit, that make me have those goosebumps, and just try to like
feeling,
I just try to describe that feeling. So yeah, that's it for that.
Do you feel I know that Eric, you're a visual artist as well. You make music videos. Do you feel like music and your visual art mesh and inspire one another, or are they kind of compartmentalized when it comes to creating for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, just making music videos alone, I feel like it's a little different in the sense that I actually do like study things, you know, to get better, and you have to like watch other shit to like just understand the fundamentals of like video and like visuals, especially music videos, which I like making specifically as music videos. So a lot of times, like I'll watch a music video just to watch the music video. I like the director or whatever the case may be, and that artist may end up being someone I listen to for years on. You know what I mean? So like a lot of times in that case, even alone, I end up just being so intertwined in those, and like a lot of my favorite shit ends up having to have a video, and like I don't know, it's very weird, but yeah, those are very much intertwined for sure.
Cool, thanks for speaking on that. Do you guys have one more song for us, or where are we at with the music?
We got one more. We can do one more for sure.
Cool. All right, whenever y'all are ready. I think this is the last one we got time for.
All right, let's get it. Shout out Wolfstone. He produces one. International Waters. That's one we got. Shout out the whole gang. XOR, Sample, Regano, Lexi, the Holy, Jose,
Adrian, you know my people, Bazzy, all my people, Ugo, my people, Hey, hey, on the back one time, turn it up a little bit. Just a little higher on that one. All right, we're gonna kick it off right. Yeah. Cigarettes in my ashtrays. I'm counting down till my last days come. Mama asked me if I had a dream when I was a teen. Told her that I had none. Always been a lost soul, searching for myself. A nigga moving low key, hoodie on like stealth. Cooking new shit every day, finna saturate the game. Bro told me go hard, so I Euro step fame. Ain't no worries on my mind except this money and the time because my pockets looking slim and a nigga in a rush. So I'm running full sprint, slowing down from the plus. My grandma worried about my health, said I'm smoking too much. But I ain't finna stop till my body drop balls and tip top shake. I drop this shit, then elevate. Ain't like I'm finna take just to see my niggas eat. Speaking with my nigga eat. Rolling up that potent green, hey, pocket full of sunshine, nigga looking hungry, trading for some money if the devil looking for me. You know the motives, no promotions where I'm clocking in. You ain't talking pay by and spitting off the top again. Youngest in the clan, work like I'm the eldest son. Bag of lights plastic, roll them up and put the flame to blunt. If you ain't up to bat, then I ain't on the bench, cause I've been running laps around you niggas, I ain't breaking sweat, and save your breath. Been in them stomping grounds for years, and I ain't breaking sweat. Been in the stomping grounds for years, no baby steps. Alright, thank you guys. That was a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, that was fun.
I thought it was gonna be worse than it was. I was like, fuck, I'm on like the webcam right now. I don't know how I'm gonna like do this, but have fun. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys for coming out. We appreciate it.
Shout out to KCR, all you guys, all the speakers today. Hope everything else goes smooth. You know the deal. Eric and Bob. Yeah, shout out Eric Envy. Shout out KUCR. Shout out Black Lives Matter ID. Follow them if you don't already. Please do that. Free Lawrence Bender. Pull up tomorrow. San Bernardino Courthouse. Black Lives Matter ID. They're already probably going to tell you. I'm probably snitching on them, but pull up tomorrow, 10 a.m., San Bernardino Courthouse. Be out there. Use your voice. Because San Bernardino police like to beat on people and arrest them for no reason. So fuck SBPD. Fuck Ukiah PD, fuck Redlands PD, fuck Riverside PD, fuck Highland PD. We good. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We missed hearing you guys perform, and I can't wait till the next time we could be up in your living room and just be going crazy all together as a community again.
RIP the Fort Native crew. We're gonna be out the Fort Native HQ. RIP, I'm sorry. COVID done fucked up everything.
How sad. We didn't get to
sorry. Well, we living room show somewhere in Highland, I'm sure, so we don't be out here with the talk. It's okay.
Well, it's okay. Next time we see you guys, I'm sure we'll be performing somewhere else in the Inland Empire, and it'll be just as beautiful. But
and in person.
Check out Foreign Native on SoundCloud.
Spotify, we on all that.
Everywhere.
Shout out to this Eric and Go 909 Xander. Foreign Native, we out.
And we actually did an interview together that you could check out. But you know, whatever. Anyways, up next we're gonna give it back to Christian to introduce our next performer. So take it away, Christian.
Thank you, Bazzy. Thank you, Foreign Native, for the hip hop. So next up, we're gonna be having our next poet, and their name is Efren Castro. Efren, where you at, my friend?
Hi, I'm right here.
How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, nervous, but I'm performing. I have to be nervous.
Exactly. And you're surrounded by friends, so there's no fear.
Oh, wow. Hurts.
So now it says here that you have some material already out. It's emo poems, stories from beyond the closet. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah. So I am a poet, pronouns they, them. I am from Lenox, California, but I'm currently living in Riverside for school, just graduated UCR. And my two latest zines that I have out are Emo Poem Stories from Beyond the Closet, and my newest one is called Heartbreak Stories. So for emo poems, or actually for both of them, these are just kind of like a collection of poems about how he's feeling like at a certain time. The one I'm going to be talking about the most is going to be Heartbreak Stories. This one's about a very convoluted relationship I was in over the course of like maybe a year. And this basically tells a story of my experience in the relationship, after the relationship, like trying to get over it, getting introduced to hookup culture, especially being like gay, going back into Grindr, Tinder, being outed to my mom, and even like the death of one of my family members is included in here.
That's a lot of material to cover in the book.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that introduction. And where would people be able to find either of those?
So both of them are going to be available on my website or on my publisher's website, Mi Casita Press. They'll be in the link in my bio on my Instagram.
All right, well, with that, let's start off with some poetry. What would you like to read us first, Stefan?
So the first poem I'm gonna read is called Sinner, and it's from Heartbreak Stories, and his little thing. I also designed the zine, so
Those look beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, Sinner. I've shared my safe space with too many men, and though I continue, I know it'll never be enough. I'm already messaging the next one. I can't imagine what these men think, but I know we're all feeling the same things. Society has left us for dead, and we're finding comfort in each other. The next morning, another stranger scent lingers on my bed, a small souvenir that I hold dear. My mom called me again to tell me to take care of my body. It's become a hobby of mine to disobey authority. She asked if otherwise I'm fine. I say yes. I don't talk about how her anxieties for eternal life started leaking into mine and how time only makes them worse. The heaven I'm living is stuck on earth. I keep it inside. We both know the way I go about things isn't right. She says goodbye for the night, but the silence frightens me. It gives me too much time to think, and I think that in her eyes, I am the sacrilegious, an afterlife-defying antichrist. In her eyes, I'm still just a sinner.
Thank you, Efren.
Yeah.
May I ask if your mother is Catholic?
So growing up, my family was like, technically we're Catholic, but we're those Catholics that only went on Easter. But it was more so the ideals that were held within my family. Like my mom was born here, but she grew up in Mexico, in Michoacan, Puebla, Michoacan. And in her household, there's a lot of conservative ideas that they had. And even though my mom always tried to defy those ideologies, there's still a lot of like trauma that gets held within being raised in that family. And once they moved to the US, like my mom's side of the family turned into Jehovah's Witness, like they converted into a different religion. And growing up under that religion was even more, like it just asked for more stricter rules and like whatever, you know what I mean? So that kind of explains why in this poem, you see my mom kind of trying to fight back against me trying to be open and be out. She's accepting, but you know, she read some of my poems, and some of my poems are a little explicit.
Yeah, it's always difficult bridging that divide with your parents, especially when you're trying to be who you are, because no one can stop you from being who you are, and eventually, you know, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. But you know, you spoke on having multiple relationships, you know, kind of trying to find yourself in that, and I feel like we all seem very different from each other, and there seems to be a lot of infighting and outfighting, but on the inside, all we crave is love, and all we crave is attention. And our society has brewed a culture of disassociation, of individuality, of pull yourself up on your own, you know? So I think that speaks to everybody, and I think that was very powerful. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And with that, would you like another one to share?
Yes. This next one's also from Heartbreak Stories. It's called Letters, and I'll show you the page because I'm very proud of this design. Letters. I'm tired of being left at home all alone, doing your bed, cleaning your room, organizing your closet, waiting for you to come back. You were out on another Friday night, and I sequestered myself into a life of domesticity. You said they weren't ready to see us together. I asked you when the time was right. In your eyes, you replied, never. I held my tongue and wondered when the sun would shine on us holding hands, when I would have a picture of us to frame, to decorate our room with our history. A bit conventional, but that's all I know how to do. I know that soon enough you'll leave me for another. I always trust my intuitions. And with no photographs saved or archives engraved, all I'll be left with are these letters I wrote for you to send out into the world in search of someone else to remember us.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like hiding a part of yourself when you have to hide who you love.
Yeah, this poem was very much based on like hidden relationships, not only being queer and having a fear of like holding your partner's hand in public, or which is such a small thing, but it's something that the queer community faces a lot, or even like just showing any kind of affection.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets especially more toxic when one of the people in the relationship have had that trauma prior, because this was my first like actual relationship that I was in. My ex had multiple relationships before this, and the trauma went back beyond just me. So I kind of saw it as like, in the queer community, it's very much hurt people because of how society kind of treats us.
Definitely the trauma will pass on through the people that you love and you live with. With that, would you have any other poems you'd like to share?
Yeah, this
You're
one's
welcome to share one more.
This one's actually a new poem that I wrote during quarantine. And during quarantine, I was actually diagnosed, which is a relief for me. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which sounds horrible, but as someone that already knew they had that for a long time, it's kind of nice hearing like a doctor finally telling you, hey, you're valid. So this was written when I thought I had COVID, which I didn't. My anxiety.
That happened. The same thing happened to me.
Right? It's terrible,
Yeah.
horrible. So this poem is called Fever Dream. I had a dream where my grandpa was caught kissing another guy. I don't really feel comfortable talking about it, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And I feel that people need to hear, I had a dream where my grandpa was caught kissing another guy. He passed away a few months ago. The timing was all weird. It was sandwiched between my first breakup and quarantine. And speaking of quarantine, that dream actually happened when I thought I had COVID-19. I had a really bad fever, so it could have been a fever dream. But from the research I did, I figured out my fever could have been induced by anxiety, probably. The government didn't have enough tests to test me to know for sure. All I know for sure is that it's stressing my roommates out. I probably shouldn't let them find out. What if they get it and blame me? I don't want to be a liability. It's scared and lonely knowing I could be the next to go. I secretly think my grandpa wants to kill me from above. He misses me from all the times I could have visited him in life, but didn't. That's why he's sending me so much stress. He wants me to die and spend the rest of eternity with him. And honestly, I wouldn't mind, except I have a full life on earth that I still want to live. I'm sorry if that makes me sound selfish. I'm 21 and I still have things to get done. I still want to have fun. Am I being realistic, or am I just prolonging another visit? I have a feeling he knows what he didn't know in life. And I pray that this is his way of telling me everything's fine, kissing guys like it's all right. Whether or not that's the case, I wish I could say, te quiero y lo siento.
Man, that was good, man. Both you and Ashley, I'm so happy we reached out to you guys. You guys killed it.
Thank you for inviting us. I've never performed this poem before. That was so like cathartic. Is that the right word?
Yes, that is exactly what it is. I felt that, and that's true cathartic. So thank you so much, Efren, for your time and your dedication and your passion. And where would people be able to find you on the social medias?
So everything on social media except Twitter is NameHere360. You can literally stalk my internet history from like 10 years ago with the same username. So yeah, my Instagram's NameHere360. I have a Tumblr for some reason. Sure, follow me there. Twitter is not my Name360 though. That's the only one that's different.
Thank you so much, Efren. Really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us again, KUCR.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. With that, I'm going to be passing it on to the one, the only, Precious, student manager of KUCR.
Thank you so much for that super sweet introduction, Christian. And thank you so much, Efren, and everyone else who's performed so far this evening. You all are doing amazing. It just shows the amount of beautiful talent we have in our region here. And of course, that is not just limited to our wonderful poets. We have our amazing musicians, including an IE native, Cam Gnarly. Really excited to have you here today. I'm gonna let your music speak for you. And on that note, I wanna open it up to you. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and the kind of music that you make and what you're gonna be playing for us first this evening.
How you guys doing? Can you guys hear me good? Thumbs up. Everybody can hear me good.
Would you be able to raise yourself just a bit more, total volume?
Turn me up. How about that?
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect.
Cool. What's up? Yeah, my name is Cam Gnarly. I'm a San Bernardino native. I went to high school in the Dino. I work for the San Bernardino School District as well as an instructional tutor for learning handicapped, physically handicapped students. I make music that's about self-awareness, about positivity. My purpose and process of making music is I try to find the best ways and the coolest ways to heal myself while also, being a voice for others and trying to help other people find their healing as well. My latest project I just put out is called 333HZ, which stands for 333 hertz, which is a healing frequency. 333 is also an angel number. And 333 is also just like a really intimate number to me, like in a personal way. It's just been something that's followed me my whole life. I got it tatted. It's just on me. So that's the nature of the project and the music. But yeah, I'll do a couple songs. My first song I'm gonna do is called Everything is Everything. I like Shao and them were saying, I haven't really been in a very creative space with everything that's been going on. I was able to make this one song and release it. And it was made like right after George Floyd had passed away. And I released this on Black Friday through my friend Iman Europe, and we released the music on Friday, and Bandcamp gives 100% of the profits to the artists, and then I donated the funds from this record to Black Lives Matter IE. Shout out to Black Lives Matter IE. Like, I've been friends of theirs, working with them since like 2015. So, I've always been honored to like lend my voice and throw my hat in the ring with my people over there. So I'm gonna do this song and then I'll do another one and we could just keep talking. Cool. Okay.
Hey man, come on, bro.
Can you guys hear it good?
One day it's gonna be you and God.
Hey.
Look where you're going now.
Everything is everything. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. Yeah. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. No more distractions, they dissipating left and right. Dodging the Lucy's, the devil's trying to take my life. Ay, my inner vision just sharpened up, come see my sight. Dwelled in the shadows until I stepped into the brights. Ay, feeling like Spike, this thing I gotta do it right. Put on for family, the ones who might not see the light. Boys and men plays again, it's so hard to say goodbye. Never thought I'd see the day we had to see divide. And I'm mourning, pain overflowing. No, I got a higher purpose, but I'm on the low end. God got a bigger plot, I plan to shine till no end. Legacy is what's in mine, I'm curving all the curses. I am just a little piece of a bigger entity. Black man royalty, self-love, loyalty. Built bonds humbly, fuck cops, pork free. Abolish the police, I just want to feel free. We deserve to feel free, yeah. Hey. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. Everything is everything.
Any nigga don't like this message, especially nigga my age.
So shout out to my boy Cass One, who helped me make this song. We had made this song right before everything was going on, and we were able to put it together on time. And I just put it out as a donation, really. Like, I wanted to just source funds through my music community and lend my platform to, give money to my friends who are out here organizing. And, for the times I couldn't be on the front lines with them, I just try to lend my voice in that way. I'm gonna do my next song. This song is called What's Real. It's the intro song on my project 3338Z. It's like a little mantra song. I wrote this like one morning just on a walk, and it just repeats itself. Hey, shout out to my boy V Al. He's sitting over here. He helped me set everything up. Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, hey. Hey, what's real? It's all coming up fake. I got promises that I can't break. Made mistakes that a nigga can't shake. Cops on a nigga head to this day. I just post up and be right bees. Dot in my eyes while I'm crossing my T's. Know that I'm blessed like a nigga just sneeze. Sick of this shit where I need some relief. I got goals that I gotta achieve. I got tricks, I just tuck up the sleeve. What's mine is mine, you can't take this from me. Live on my feet before I die on my knees. Yeah, hey. Live on my feet before I die on my knees. What's mine is mine. You can't take this from me. Yeah. Hey. What's real? It's all coming up fake. I got promises that I can't break. Make mistakes that a nigga can't shake. Cops on a nigga head to this day. I just post up and be where I bees. Died in my eyes while I'm crossing my T's. Know that I'm blessed like a nigga just sneeze. Sick of this shit where I need some relief. I got goals that I gotta achieve. I got tricks, I just tuck up the sleeve. What's mine is mine. You can't take this from me. Live on my feet before I die on my knees. Yeah. Hey, I live on my feet before I die on my knees. What's mine is mine. You can't take this from me. Hey. Hey. And this is a good time just to remind people that, you know, we are navigating a very interesting time. It's really hard in so many regards to stay positive and stay creative, but all I can do is encourage everybody to just pull up for each other and be, you know, put a shoulder on each other, be a crutch for somebody, lift somebody up type way. I'm gonna pause that. Hey. Shout out to my homie Floyd Zion. Can you guys hear? Is it sounding cool? I can't really hear it in my room. Cool.
That sounded great, man.
We hear you.
Thank you. I'll keep going. This next song is dedicated to San Bernardino. This song is called The Nine. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey. Yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Take it as it comes, go day by day. When they slow, you move them out the way. Gotta move at your own pace. It's a marathon, it's not a race. From the city of St. Bernardines, niggas turn from kings and turn to fiends. Niggas go to church to get redeemed. Homies turn to ghosts and memories. Not respecting city boundaries. Press the issue one too many times. Spirit gotta learn to read the signs. Be like that on my side of the nine. College kids from crooks is what you find. Be like that on my side of the nine. Be like that on my side of the nine. Be like that on my side. Hey, hear me now until I'm gone. Hey, this is borrowed time. Vessel only here on loan. Hey, for my soul to shine. You know the place I call home. And that's the starting line. And where I finish, I don't know. Just know that I'm gonna ride. Hear me now until I'm gone. Hey, this is borrowed time. Vessel only here on loan. Hey, for my soul to shine. You know the place I call home. And that's the starting line. And where I finish, I don't know. Just know that I'm gonna ride. Streets will eat you up like free lunches. 12 arrested just to get the budget. Judge throw the book, won't budget. Blessings still coming in abundance. Intuition, I get all the hunches. Strong core, I do all the crunches. Life is such a rush, we don't rush it. Patience turning nothing into something. All the pain a nigga endure. Wonder if they ever find a cure. These days I ain't been living pure. No wonder why we so torn. Tell me what I'm really here for. Represented well, no ego swell. More down to earth than wishing wells. Only wishes that we all prevail. Light and dark is all intertwined. Be like that on my side of the nine. Be like that on my side of the nine. Be like that on my side of the nine. Light and dark is all intertwined. Be like that on my side of the nine. Be like that on my side of the nine. Be like that on my side. Hey, hear me now until I'm gone. Hey, this is borrowed time. Vessel only here on loan. Hey, for my soul to shine. Do you know the place I call home? And that's the starting line. And where I finish, I don't know. Just know that I'm gonna ride. Hear me now until I'm gone. Hey, this is borrowed time. Vessel only here on loan. Hey, for my soul to shine. Do you know the place I call home? And that's the starting line. And where I finish, I don't know. Just know that I'm gonna ride. Hey, shout out to San Bernardino. I'm really from San Bernardino University in Kendall. Shout out to Cajon. Shout out to Bakers. Shout out to Loved Ones Barbershop. Shout out to Series Cartoons, Records, and Tapes, only record shop in San Bernardino. Shout out to just everybody, all my Dino people, North and Gnarly. I'm out here. Shout out my friend A. Brooke.
So good. Yes. Cam, do you mind if I ask you a quick question?
Nah, yeah, sure, of course.
So can you tell us a little bit about the project that you have coming out soon? I just want to hear what that's all about. Tell us a little about what you have coming out with.
I don't necessarily have a project coming out. I do have a project that I just put out. But it's mostly all the music that I'm putting out right now is just about healing. It's really just about talking about the stuff that I experience and the things that I've healed from and putting them into the music and trying to be a voice for the people who are from where I'm from and making music from that perspective. Because I mean, being from San Bernardino, I see a lot of people that I grew up with in the streets with and stuff like that, and they may make music that is a example of some part of what they experience, but I try to make music that really quantifies like all the different experiences that I've had in San Bernardino, in Los Angeles, adjacent. Like, so for me, all my music is going to continue to be about positivity, self-awareness, and that's what my new project is, 333HZ is all about. Like, it's just kind of it's like my homie Noah James will say, it's like putting the medicine in the brownie kind of thing. Like sonically, you may feel like you're listening to a song that may sound like this way, and then when you actually get an opportunity to really set your mind to it, you will hear, some positive some positive affirmations in the music.
Thank you so much. That's so powerful. Healing is so important now more than ever. And on that note, I'll let you get back into it. And thank you for being here, of course.
No, thank you. Speaking of healing, I made this song after one of my friends from San Bernardino passed away. This song is dedicated to Dro, but Adriana George, she lost her life in Las Vegas in 2017. And I made this song right after that, and this is dedicated to that. Hey, 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 oh yeah, oh yeah. Riding through the north side of the city streets, dodging all the fakes and the haters and police. My thoughts too heavy, so it's hard for me to speak. I roll me another one so I can find my peace. Peace out to the days we was living low key. Gotta take it higher for those buried underneath. I still tip my drink in love and memory, and I roll me another one so I can find my peace. Oh, I get high off your memory. I know you still with me. Hey, oh, I get high off your memory. I know you still with me. Hey, mom been working non-stop on the clock. Hit a tick-tock, another idea, another thought. It's a new day, got a new plot. You should scheme, you should do things, no hoop dreams. I had a shot, never known to miss. Everything is whiz, breaking down the spliff. Draw my ashes off into the abyss, reminisce. Hey, R.I.P. the nip. Hey, oh, I get high off your memory. I know you still with me. Hey, oh, I get high off your memory. I know you still with me. Hey, riding through the north side of the city streets, dodging all the fakes and the haters and police. My thoughts too heavy, so it's hard for me to sleep. I roll me another one so I can find my peace. Peace out to the days we was living low key. Gotta take it higher for those buried underneath. I still tip my drink in love and memory, and I roll me another one so I can find my peace. Oh, I get high off your memory. I know you still with me. Hey, oh, I get high off your memory. I know you still with me. Hey, and that song It's called Get By. It's off my project Nirvana that I released in 2019, last year. And to think, just the juxtaposition from how I was feeling in 2019 to coming into 2020, like niggas was already going through so much, and I had a glimmer of hope, and then 2020 came, and it's really been wild. But that song is just inspired to just remember, keep people alive through their memory. I'm gonna cut that off. But yeah, that song's called Get By. I'm gonna do another one. Is that cool? Thumbs up to do another song.
Sounds good. Keep it going. Maybe. Thank you.
Tight. All right, let's do some. I'm gonna do something off my new project. Speaking of threes, and I talked about 333. This song is called Signs. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get closer. Oh yeah, hey. oh yeah, hey. Hey, I ain't never lost because I don't never quit. If I said it, then I did it. I'm a man, not a myth. Hey, I am very mindful of the vibes we emit, cause I got to admit, niggas' energy is shit. Hey, I feel like all I see is signs. Hey, signs. Guiding me towards what is mine. Hey, mines. Feel like all I see is signs. Hey, signs. Guiding me towards what is mine. Hey, okay, I wake up in the morning, check myself, check my bank statements, roll up a Dutch of the loud from the gas station. Water down my plant while my girl burns sage fragrance. I'ma show you how routine help your operation. Giving out free game, no paycheck, no reparation. Gotta stay fresh like my flesh got no expiration. Shit is going up now, snow come down, it's elevation. No, I'm worthy of these wins, don't need validation. I feel like all I see is signs, hey. Hey, guiding me towards what is mine, yeah. Hey, I feel like all I see is signs, hey. Hey, they guiding me towards what is mine, hey. And then they all come in threes, pockets seeing an increase. Every day I gotta seize till I get them Billy Key for my mama, not for me. Life is short like Joffrey. No, this stone is built for me, but I never take a seat. Roll running for a week. I don't break or go to sleep. Can't go back to being weak. Think I'm in this shit too deep. New habits I gotta keep. See rewards I gotta reap. Collecting more, I can't be cheap. Uphill battle, it was steep. Every day I feel elite. I feel whole life feel complete, yeah. Hey, I feel whole life feel complete, yeah. Hey, I feel whole life feel complete, yeah. Hey, okay. I ain't never lost because I don't never quit. If I said it, then I did it. I'm a man, not a myth. Hey, I am very mindful of the vibes we emit, cause I got to admit, niggas' energy is shit trash. Feel like all I see is signs. Hey, signs. Okay, mines. Feel like all I see is signs. Hey, signs. Guiding me towards what is mine. Hey. And that song is really just about like when you wake up every day and you just see like crazy synchronicities of just like numbers in a sequence of threes or numbers doubled, or you like be thinking about something and then you hear the TV finish your little your thought or something like that. Like I'll just be surrounded by signs, like they just be popping up.
Thank you so much, Cam. This is so dope.
Thank you.
Thank you. And how can everybody here listen to you? How can we keep listening? How can we tap in?
Well, the best way to tap in and support artists, especially during COVID, would be to buy the music directly from Bandcamp, camgnarly.bandcamp.com. That's where all my music is, and pretty soon I'll be releasing a web store next month as well. So if you want to continue supporting the music, and if you're listening from now into next month, I'll be dropping a bunch of 333 Healers Club like merchandise, like masks and stuff like that, and pretty much a percentage of those funds will be donated into buying more masks and essential items for the students in my school district. Because if they go back to school, the school isn't mandated to provide them with like everything, and it's gonna fall to the parents. So what we're trying to do while we're still in the process of doing distant learning and stuff, I'm trying to use my music to get the funds to buy more stuff to donate to the kids that need masks and gloves and sanitizer and stuff like that. So that would be the best way to support my music and my brand, would be to buy directly from Bandcamp. Outside of that, if you're not a Bandcamp user and you're just like a passive music listener, you could Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal pays the most, so shout out that. But it's all about accessibility. If you search up Cam Gnarly or wherever you listen to your music at, you'll be able to find something I've made. So, I'm all over the
Thank
internet.
you so much. We definitely will. Yeah, we will be getting into that music. Is there any way we can follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Cam Gnarly, CAMGNARLY. I'm on all social media platforms. I just want to say thank you to KUCR for having me. I listen to you guys' station all the time. I've known people who've like worked with the station, and I'm just a really big fan. I really want to say shout out to Yost too for everything they're doing with Black Lives Matter. I'm really, really anxious to hear what she has to say as well, because she's been somebody who's really been active out here, and with everything that happened in this past week, I can definitely attest to like those of us that have been using our platforms and lending our voices, from an artist perspective anyway. I've definitely seen the energy change from a lot of people who thought I was some type of safe person that they could hide behind, like, oh, I listen to his music, but I've really found a lot of people showing themselves, and I can definitely say I'm a fan of that right now. I'm a fan of the fact that as we continue to apply pressure and make them acknowledge and see what they've done to us, and make them hold them accountable, they're gonna start to react. So I like it when people are unfollowing me and calling me out on my name and like I want that. That tells me that I'm getting under your fucking skin. So I just want to commend everybody at Black Lives Matter, i.e. keep applying pressure. I'm gonna continue to lend my voice and use my medium to support the organizers in my community. So I just gotta say off top, I fuck with y'all, real shit.
Cool. Thank you so much. And on that note, thank you, Cam. I'm going to hand it off to, of course, I'm going to hand it back to Ismael, and we're going to do a little check-in. Ismael, go for it.
Hello, guys. Thank you so much, Cam, and thank you to all of our performers. Great stuff. I mean, I'm keeping track of the YouTube conversation over on YouTube, and I'm getting a lot of great responses. Cam, if you can just answer one question. I think someone perhaps didn't hear, but are you on Apple Music?
Yeah, I'm on Apple Music. You can just search my name on Apple Music, CAMGNARLY. You'll be able to find all my catalogs on that platform.
Cool.
I just put out a project earlier this year in March called 333HZ, and I put out a project this time last year called Nirvana. I would really suggest listening to those projects. Those are like my pride and joys, some of the best music that I've made in all the years that I've been making music. So I'm really excited for people to hear it. I hope, if you like the music, hit me up on social media. I'm very approachable and personable. Like I'm, not on no kind of weirdness. Like if you like the music, I want to know that you like it, so I can, create that network and make more healers, more friends out here.
Very cool. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of our poets and musicians so far. Your performances have been great. And I definitely want to just go ahead and check in with Mariah Green. We're going to speak to her for a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and dive into our speaker conversation and discussion. Mariah, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you. Hi.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. So we last left off with your interview regarding your murals around downtown Riverside, and I was wondering, do you have perhaps like a maybe not a mural, but like an artwork that perhaps you can speak about for a bit?
Yeah. So I really liked that like the topics of like applying pressure, and how during that pressure is an act of reclaiming space for all the times that we were neglected, our stories were not heard. Like I mentioned earlier, that otherization and how that affects our existence, our families, and trying to continue as someone for myself who is into art history and wanting to document the stories that weren't either documented correctly or not at all. And so This piece is a portrait of Mac Charles Parker, and he died in 1951. He was wrongfully accused of raping a white woman and was placed into jail. And while in jail, he was kidnapped by a mob and beaten. And then he was also left in a river in Mississippi, and he wasn't found for about 10 days. And so while I was reading this story, I also noticed towards the end, they plugged in saying that he was the last known lynching story in America. And this was 59. And there's clearly lynching still happening today.
Yeah.
So to kind of share that story and for them to write it as, oh, this was the last time, because they were choosing to end that documentation of lynching, was something that really spoke to me. And so I did this portrait in remembrance of him, because his story, whether being accused, I think that's what it boils down to, is just being accused of things and being profiled and being sectioned off into a different category that's other than white. And I think that's something that was actually that has been sticking with me recently, is that how can I document the people around me? How can I document myself? That's something that a lot of people should be thinking about, is how they document themselves and the importance of that, because who's going to document you? You know, they could say whatever they want, just as they did for, you know, Mac Charles Parker, whatever they did to him, like they could just write it off. And so I do urge everyone to just document themselves, whether it be through their poetry, their stories, their family, through music, and then being able to share that, because that's also a part of that act of reclaiming, is putting yourself out there, because that's a radical act.
Yeah, I've always heard that art is kind of a reflection of what goes on in our lives, right? So it's kind of you're basically a form of historian, right? You're documenting the moment and maybe the past and how it relates to each other. And I've admired your work for some time now, and I've kind of been keeping up with what you've been doing and you know, what you post on social media. And I was wondering, I love that artwork that you just showed, but can you speak to like the individual I don't know, the traits of the artwork? I mean, as a whole, it's beautiful, right? But I think you're putting little tidbits in there that are kind of significant, are they?
Yeah. So
I mean, for one, I would say the lines. Do they necessarily mean anything?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The lines for me represent the deferment. And so when I use these colors and trying to make oneself otherworldly, because that's often what the experience that we have feels like. It's otherworldly. It feels not right. So when I use certain colors that are blocked, you know, this like distortion of the face, there's just like basic traits like nose, there's a mouth, there's glaring eyes, there's ears, there's hair. It's very basic and very just generalized and clumped together as they kind of just view us and choose to view us. And so also with the lines, it's just my way of freaking it. It's my way of finessing my art style, and also representing the deferment of oneself, and how, like I said, what that looks like in my artistic opinion.
Well, going back to what you said earlier, you know, the historically I guess a lie of the end of lynching, right? Um, I know there's been a couple just recently, like just here in the IE, and perhaps
Yeah.
we'll speak about that in the discussion. But it's not it's not it's a complete lie that it's over and done with, right? So I'm glad that there are people like you, you know, and others who are documenting all this. I don't know, all these issues and all these events, because in the future we're gonna have to look back and assess how we were and how to move forward, right?
Yeah.
For your physical pieces, for your prints, where can people find them?
I'm not finished updating my site. I unfortunately have been working during COVID, so trying to find time to just have time to do that has been tough. So just for right now would be through messaging me through Instagram. Um, am I safe to do quick little plugins?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, like, other than the murals, do you have any
Yeah.
artwork displayed publicly?
Um, just for right now, the murals. I do have a
Murals.
book that
And
I'm very, very excited about through
yeah, I
Curious
heard.
Publishing. That's going to be shipping in about a week and a half. And that's my work from 2014 to 2019. It's a very intimate book and very like, you know, you got to show all your old work. And sometimes people don't want to do that. But, you know, I'm doing it for myself to document myself, like I'm saying. And then also, if you haven't heard of Curious Publishing, they're a IE publishing nonprofit that really elevate a lot of local artists, specifically artists of color, queer artists. And also, I will be curating the Black, Indigenous, people of color issue for them. And so if you want to start submitting your artwork now, you could do that through their website. And then also, if you click on my link tree in my Instagram at Mariah Green Arts, you'll see a virtual gallery that's titled Hidden Gems, and it's about Black aesthetics. And there's 3 visual artists, Jonah Jackson, Stephen Ofumata, Sophia Bell, and then also our featured poet, which is Mahad. Really beautiful stuff, very intimate work. And yeah, just enjoy that as well. I curated it, you know, it came from my heart and I wanted to see this vision come, and I'm really happy that it was able to. So check that out, please.
Yes.
And then
everybody.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
with the $, support artists. I intentionally put their Venmo, whatever information that they, you know, wanted to give out. So if people wanted to donate to them, you know, give them props, show them that they loved their work. Like, I 100% go for that. I'm all about supporting artists with the $.
Very cool. Great words from Mariah Green. Thank you so much. Everybody who's watching, please go support Mariah Green on social media, and definitely find that Curious Publishing book coming out soon, right? Yeah, I've seen little images from it, and I think it looks great so far from what I've seen from Curious. So thank you so much, and I implore all of our musicians and artists to stick around for the speaker discussion, which I will bring about now. And I want to go ahead and introduce our featured speaker panelist, beginning with Angel of the Queer Coalition. How are you, Angel?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for this opportunity to be here.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Do you want me to share a bit about who I am?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
For sure. So hello, my name is Angel or Angel. I use they, them, she, her pronouns. They, them preferred. I am an organizer with Queer Coalition, or a queer family member, queer community member, I like to say. And yeah, we're an organization. We're a coalitional organization of queer and trans Black folks, Indigenous folks, and people of color. And we're here in the IE fighting for liberation on occupied Cahuilla land right now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And up next we have Yoselin Saucedo. Did I pronounce that right, Yoselin?
Yes, Yoselin Saucedo.
Okay, thank you so much. And
Yes.
You are the co-founder of Black Lives Matter IE. A lot of us have already mentioned your organization. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization and how it came to be?
Of course. My name is Yoselin. I am a queer disabled mother student at UCR. I am a fourth year creative writing major at UCR. I am the co-founder of Black Lives Matter IE. We started up in 2014 in the light of Mike Brown's murder. I've been organizing since. We took a little break and came back in light of George Floyd. But we do a lot of things besides protests. We work with families who've been affected by police brutality. We help pay lawyer fees. We also we started a food drive last month too, where we're going to start feeding the community. At least 1,000 families will be able to eat once a month.
Wow.
So things like that. Is that good?
Yeah, that's great. You guys do awesome work, and I think everybody in this Zoom conversation and everybody watching at home are big fans of your organization. So thank you so much for being here. It's a definite privilege and pleasure. Thank you. And up next we have Dr. Regina Stell, the president of the NAACP in Riverside. Hello, Dr. Stell. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say this has been refreshing. I love this. Yeah, I love this. Sort of took me back, to my college days. It's like, yes. I love it. I really love me rocking with it. So most of you know, NAACP has been around for 100 years, right? And the civil rights movement has been 100 years, like 400 years. But I tell you, we're in a different time. The civil rights organization, that's to me, it's been breath put back into it. I can't explain it exactly, but you're feeling what I'm saying. And initially, when it first happened, like, oh crap, it's kind of like, we do a lot of work. NAACP has been this way for a long time, of equality. And when I started reading about the 100 years, it really started out with a lot of people, a lot of white people actually. But through the years, they've really tried to because it's founded on Christian principles, and that's caused a lot of fractions and stuff. But when it comes down to it, civil rights are civil rights. Human beings are human beings. And I think we're at a time and place now that we really are trying to not let fractions be put upon us for the true meaning of getting civil rights. And I'm seeing a coming together. And originally, because we were operating in vacuums or silos, we were not, to me, maximizing our power. And right now, it's about seizing the moment to galvanize the changes that we've been working for a long time. But all of us, come on. We're either America for the free, for all, or we're not. All is all, okay? So I have come to realize that it wasn't by accident. I don't know, a lot of people knew Woody Rucker Hughes. She was the president for 18 years. I just came in 2 years ago. But the one thing I've learned in my 70 years, things happen at the right time. And people got to know when their time is to get on the stage and when it's time to get off the stage and who needs to be on the stage. So I kind of reached out. Beginning, people were calling me, what you guys gonna do? What you guys gonna do? And I'm 70. I'm like, they don't want me to go outside. I don't want to die. But I got a call from young people and they say, we want to help you. I was like, yes, let's do this. So, I tell you, in 6 weeks, Zooming. I mean, I'm just learning all this stuff. But the bottom line is, we are about taking the energy that Black Lives Matters has given us and moving it forward. I mean, I'm sure you heard what John Lewis said. We applaud you. We don't need to fight. We don't need to be distracted. We need to come together right now. I love it. We need to be clear what your asks are. We need to have a call to action. Because I mean, it's a global thing. I mean, we're dealing with the priorities, I guess, right now is November 2020. The census, we really didn't hit the mark. We like 60-something%. And that's how money comes in to give us what we want. So this last month, they just changed the deadline. Now it's August 31st. So if you haven't, or you anybody in your family, I did like all of my family. I'm from the south side of Chicago. They're not getting to it. They need to. But I mean, I just got on the phone, give me your numbers and, register people for census, elections, police reform. I think we've held 2 virtual town halls, one with the local police chief, standing room only. I had to increase our Zoom to like 500. And then the sheriff, that's another whole conversation for another day. But I'm from the south side of Chicago. I ain't scared, okay? I am scared, okay? So having real conversations, but being clear on what the asks are. And we're in it to win it.
Definitely.
We need you, you need us. We're moving forward. I don't want to take up too much time, but right now we have multiple things going. What do I need? I need you. And I got connections now. I've seen other Zoom calls. I love the call. But let's be in touch. We need people to join. You don't have to join, but you need $30 a year. It's not a bad idea because $30 a year, you get access to all the research. I mean, go to the national website for the NAACP, the reform data. I mean, everything you want, all kind of research and data and numbers. But you guys have the energy, you have the action, you have the mastery of this platform. And music truly is, it's like the lifeline of it to me. I was just listening. I was like getting exhausted this last 6 weeks. The last, 3 days, honey? Charlie Wilson, I've been listening to him. We're in this to win it. Get this, whatever song rocks you, you need to be listening to it. Because I told you on the kind of like we did, the battle is won. You got to know that's won. You just got to figure out what your part is in the victory, and let's get to it. Let's get on it.
Definitely.
So I'm honored. I'm thankful. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate you having me to come and talk. I'm available. NAACP, we have a website. You know how to get in contact with me. But we have work to do, and it's in every area.
Yes,
so.
I completely agree with you, Dr. Stell, and I want to thank you for being here on behalf of KUCR and to all of our speakers that we introduced so far. And you touched on a lot of things that I think are going to be very important in our conversation up ahead. But for now, I definitely want to just go ahead and bring back our DJ, Christian, for the first question of our conversation.
Yes, so we want to conduct basically a conversation between the 3 of us and the 4 moderators. And basically, I'm going to ask a question, and then the first person can reply, and then we can all come in together. But let's try to be conscious of each other, conscious of time, so that everyone gets to speak. But with that being said, I'd like to direct my first question to Angel, and after that will be Yasin. And my question is, and this is for all of you, but beginning with Angel, is that after the year is marred by COVID. COVID is the marker of what we're all going through. But these struggles and these fights have been continuing, like Dr. Stell, for over 500 years, really since the conquest of the Americas. So for a lot of people in 2020, it feels like there's a galvanization, there's a movement, people are waking up. But a lot of these people weren't aware of these things beforehand. And if they were aware, they were consciously ignoring it. So now the pressure is not just being applied to minorities and people of color, but it's also being applied to the wealthy, the middle class, the white, everybody's feeling it. And so I want to ask you guys, what has changed for you personally as members of the community before and after COVID, like where we're at now and where we were a year ago? How do you feel that the times have changed universally, not just in the context of COVID, but in the context of everything that is happening right now? Angel, if we could start with you.
Definitely. Ooh, that's a big question.
It's a lot.
It's been like a really interesting year. But I think it's also really important to remember that, like, especially for speaking for the communities that I'm part of, like for non-binary, queer, and trans, intersex, Black people, Native people, and people of color, like this isn't the first pandemic that we faced and that we've organized through. You know, so it's really nothing new. It's definitely very interesting this year because COVID has really forced the government to take all these really huge steps, shutting down schools and the economy. It's caused a lot of people to, you know, face unemployment, housing insecurity, food insecurity, all these different types of things that like people in my communities have already been facing. And so I think it's definitely woken people up and realized like, oh shoot, like if we don't do something now, then what's to stop this from happening again a year from now? There surely will, because as we've seen, the government is not going to step in and help us. They're just going to do everything they can in their power to police us and sustain the capitalist system and their wealth and power and white hegemony.
Yeah, the government has definitely had to become more active and more directly involved in our personal affairs. I feel like, especially with the hassle between sending out stimulus checks, unemployment fiascos. I don't know if this is true or not, but what I've heard is that we're all going to be taxed on unemployment in a year, which is just kind of like a slap in the face because they're supposed to be helping us, but here we are with no money having to pay it back. But Yoselin, for you, what has changed in the past year from the beginning of January to now?
Honestly, like Angel was saying, we have already lived through many pandemics as people of color, as BIPOC, but COVID specifically, I feel honestly, it's made organizing, if anything, easier because it's made it more accessible. And like us social distancing, taking up, 6 feet apart in protests or whatever, we're taking up more space. So we're like occupying more space and more, more time. And then people are helping in different ways too that before they wouldn't help. We were able to have that food drive because of donations. We were able to do things like that because of donations, because people can't come out, but they can help in other ways. And honestly, all of this has made it even people who can't go to protests, who can't show up, and made it more accessible to them to be able to help. We have the phone scripts, we have the email scripts to call, local government, local officials, and that helps just as much as showing up to protest. So if anything, this has really helped us really make more of a difference, to be honest.
Well spoken. I definitely the internet access gives people who normally couldn't participate the ability to, especially I noticed a lot of people who are usually working, that was a big thing that I noticed, that people who weren't working because of the pandemic were now available and ready to participate in these movements. So the numbers are very key, because what we have as community is definitely numbers. What we don't have in wealth and what we don't have in supplies is we have numbers and we have each other. And Dr. Stell, if I can ask you, what, as the president of the NAACP, you and your organization, how is this year looking for you compared to last year?
She just mentioned the connectivity, and we're restricted going out with age. I mean, I'm getting more work done this past 5 months in mobilizing this county of Riverside with civil rights, connectivity, using technology, and even making myself go back to like anti-racism. Somebody started having this conversation. It's making me, I've read like 4 books in the last 6 weeks, because you got to have information, right? It's right, because you got to communicate. And we have a challenge now of communicating multiple generations, multiple populations, inside. You're dead right. You're center right. We've accelerated. I think you have to look for the good thing and the bad thing. And this is what's happening. I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely beautiful. We have to find that silver lining for us, especially in these times, because it's an overload of information. There's so much to pay attention to. There's so much to see. There's so much to know that it really does feel overwhelming, and we can find that strength in community. But with that, I'd like to move to the next question and the next speaker, and we'll be beginning this set of questions with Yoselin. Bazzy, would you be available to speak to our panelists?
Yeah, I actually have a question directed towards Yoselin from Black Lives Matter IE. So you guys organize and endorse a lot of protests. I was wondering, what are the qualifications for you endorsing a lot of protests, and have you had like any problems with protests that you don't endorse? What makes for a good organized protest, I guess I would say. What are your thought process behind that?
Yeah, of course. That's a really good question, actually. And that's something we constantly get in our DMs. So first and foremost, we have a website. It's blmie.org. On the website, you can find a toolkit for how to organize locally. So if we can't go and organize in Temecula or Pomona or other places that are IE and Pomona's LA, anyways, I know it. So if we can't go and organize in your city because there's a lot of ground to cover for the IE, there's a toolkit in our website that actually helps you how to organize. So the thing about endorsing protests, when things started popping off, around the time that George Floyd was murdered by the pigs, it was hard because there was a lot of protests coming up. But the thing is that we have to make sure that whoever's putting these protests together align with our beliefs. And first and foremost, like, we do not work with any elected officials. We do not endorse any elected officials. We do not work with the pigs whatsoever at all. Their money doesn't do us any good. So, so whoever's organizing these things have to align with us. We can't endorse something. We can't endorse protests that don't align with our personal beliefs, and then people are out there expecting what they see at our protest, and they don't get that. Like, we try to help these kids in Lake Elsinore when things popped off, and we talked with them, and we're like, okay, this is what you do: look up local things happening, lift up those names, whatever. But at the very last minute, they let the pigs co-opt their protest and started saying all lives matter at their protests, and people were complaining to us like if it was our fault. So, things like that, we have to be mindful of, that. And now, as far as endorsing, that's not all we focus on. Like, people just see the protests we do, but that's not all we do. We do so much more. We're constantly at the budget hearings. We're constantly, trying to feed the people, trying to work with families who've been affected by police brutality. And we do all this work pro bono. Like, we're not on a paycheck. So it's not just a protest that we focus on. So now, about endorsing protests, we don't really endorse protests unless we work directly with you. Like, we work with IE Queer Coalition, we work with the Brown Berets, we work with the Black Cubs IE. So people that we directly work with that are aligned with us, then we'll uplift their protest or whatever events they have. But other than that, we don't really focus on that no more.
Thank you so much for explaining that. Well said. And I was actually wondering if you could tell our listeners a little bit about what happened in San Bernardino recently.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we were in San Bernardino on July 31st. We've been protesting for months now in the name of Lawrence Bender. Now, Lawrence Bender is a Black man who was shot twice by Michael Babineau of Rialto PD in San Bernardino. And he was shot during an altercation that he had with them, but he had no weapon. He didn't fight them back, nothing. And it was just him. It was Michael Babineau and Lawrence Bender. And so he shot him, left him for dead. Lawrence was disappeared for 2 weeks. His family didn't know where he was. And then finally we stepped in, we followed the missing person, and then Lawrence Bender came up. They have been trying to charge Lawrence Bender of what happened ever since then. So we've been protesting at the courthouse every single time he has court. Like, we're there in court support. We're small in numbers, like literally it's like 10 of us, 15 of us, 20, maybe 30. And this past week on July 31st, we were all gonna be present. We knew that they wanted to escalate things because our previous protest on July 10th, we had wrote in chalk on the floor, like Black Lives Matter. We had wrote on all the windows in the courthouse with what's it called, window marker. So all these things were like removable, and we just lit it up, like free Lawrence Bender, Black Lives Matter, defund the police, abolish the police, like that. And they didn't like that. So when we came back on July 31st, they were ready. And they're ready in a way where they knew they were going to instigate things, and that was their plan. Because we had got there, I showed up in my wheelchair with my partner, and I showed up and they're like, you need to get out of the way, you're blocking the way. And I was like, oh, I'm just getting here. Like, Jesus, like I had my Jamba Juice in my hand and I was just like chilling, And then our group member, Avery, was just walking back and forth with the bullhorn, no justice, no peace. And they start tailing him. I get up and I say, I stand behind him, someone stands behind me, and they just start tackling Avery. And they push me, they push my partner down to the ground. This man bulldozes into the crowd, and just in this mall, we're all small women. I'm like 5'3". And he bulldozes all the women, and then they arrest Avery. They arrest another protester after they pushed her several times and punched her. And then they tell us to leave. And I tell them, no, we're not leaving. I sit in my wheelchair and I said, no, we're not leaving until you free our protesters. We're here in the name of Lawrence Bender. And then they start arresting us one by one. People retreat who don't want to get arrested. And then we were all arrested like one by one. And then a member showed up, his name is Broderick, and he was just walking up, and they all tackled him, and they beat him with batons and tackled him, and it's all on video. And they tackled him, beat him with batons, and then arrested him. So yeah, we were all arrested. In total, it was 11 of us. A few members and a few allies were arrested that day, and we were held in CDC San Bernardino for 12 hours without knowing what charges we had, nothing. And then finally they let us go, and they didn't even give us like that big of charge. They were just really fucking with us.
Wow. So you guys, everyone was freed, no problem. But
everyone was freed, no problem. Yeah, but it was they gave us trouble. Like they treated us like crap in there. Like it was just so crazy to see on the inside, because they were so mad at us, and we really had done nothing, and we were all like small women. Most of us who were arrested were small women, like 5'3", like super tiny, and they treated us like crap. I had braids in, they pulled my braids out like by force. They just treated us like crap. They were just really horrible to us for no reason. And I'm like, damn, like I thought y'all supposed to arrest criminals, and we're over here, we're just protesting. And they said that we were trespassing, but I tried to fight it and say, well, we've been here for months. How is now an issue? Why are we getting arrested now and being brutalized, by your pigs? So that's what happened.
Wow. Thank you for clarifying that situation. I know a lot of people were worried about you guys, and I'm so glad that you guys are out safe. And I know that this does not discourage you. I know that they were probably trying to put you down, and I know that you guys are stronger than ever, and we really appreciate all the work that you've been doing in the IE. So thank you so much. And I think Precious had a question that she wanted to go ahead and ask. So I'm going to pass the mic over to our lovely student manager.
Thank you so much, Bazzy. I know that you just touched on a lot of just memories and details of violence. A lot of that violence, a lot of us are not familiar with, but this violence is in a lot of ways ever present. And I really want to emphasize that through this question. I actually have this question for you, Angel. As we're talking about violence and how the system perpetuates this, especially in certain spaces, it's actually maximized. In protests, we see a lot more violence, but this violence is present within so many people's lives across the country, throughout the world. So as we're speaking about this, we have to note that this is actually particular to people within marginalized identities. So I wanted to ask you, for people who during this time of COVID-19 and the resurgence of the Black Lives Matter movement within the United States, for people who are new to this, who are new to unfortunately caring about other human beings and empathizing with those who don't look like us and live like us, how do you connect with them? How do you connect with people who for so long have minimized and actually discounted our identities and our realities? How do you bring them to this movement and educate them in the best way possible?
Definitely, that's a really good question. I think it really comes around to this idea that we all hold very unique social positions and a variety of different systems of disempowerment, of privilege and oppression, whether it's race, sex, gender, our class privilege, or, what our ability or disabilities might be. Everyone is really impacted by these different forms of disempowerment and oppression. And what it really comes down to is like each of us doing that internal work of trying to bridge boundaries, trying to break down these, first of all, acknowledging histories of hierarchies and binaries between people, whether it's hierarchies of race, class, gender, whatever it might be, and doing the work in community to really just accommodate all people is what it is. Like you said, it's basic, it's just empathy really with other human beings. It's wanting to love other people. being a queer person and being a trans person and coming from this larger history of queer houses and queer families where we've always really been sort of not accepted into these norm spaces, into cis spaces, heterosexual spaces, white spaces, and we've had to build our own families and communities where we do sustain ourselves. And I think it's important for people who aren't part of whatever marginalized identity it might be to do the work of engaging with those people with marginalized identities and uplifting materially, emotionally, affirming the needs, and doing the work to make sure other people aren't being cruddy people.
Thank you so much for that. That was really powerful and touches on a lot of what we need to be more conscious of during this time and honestly all the time. So on that note, I want to pass it back to Christian or Ismail actually, and just let you ask a question, engage our panel some more as we just discuss how we can do this work further and bring everyone in this way.
Thank you, Precious. You're actually hitting on my next question. How can we move forward, right? I want to direct this question to Dr. Skell, if you're there. I want to ask you, in this moment of heightened sense of awareness, right, for all of us, and I think COVID is basically kind of putting a magnifying glass on the issues that were already there, right? How can we as young people, or how can we in this moment with new technology and new ways of communication, can we further the fight against racism and perhaps move towards Black liberation?
I think what Angel said is we have to understand two things. The whole concept of divide and conquer. So let's not be divided on what civil rights is and what it isn't. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with all of those silos, the big boxes. There's nothing to do. We have to really know what civil rights, human rights are. Be really clear and even get into your head and soul and heart and figure out what work you need to do. I mean, I found I need to do work, okay? Because you get to your goal when you're clear what it is and what your hindrances are. Then we're talking stuff that's really, really, really personal. Personal work is tough. It's hard. It's less difficult when you start understanding what behaviors come from belief systems and identities that narratives that you like, uncomfortable, whatever. But you got to be clear on what human rights are and what behaviors support them and what behaviors do not. And then you have to mobilize with people, and we're all bringing each other along the way, by the way, But I'm telling you, what's right, this is me, is going to win. We have to articulate, like tonight, take this invitation. I know exactly what I was coming to, but listen, there's very few places you can walk in the door. If you listen, you're not going to take something home, whether you hear it or not, So connecting, educating yourself, going within, and maybe being uncomfortable in spaces. But the space of getting civil rights activated is going to take us all being uncomfortable and really knowledgeable about what it is and what it isn't, and willing to do the work internally, externally, technology. We got to stretch ourselves.
Definitely. I think the emergence of all these kind of quick recording videos that we see on social media nowadays are kind of the evidence and kind of the proof, right, of being uncomfortable, of having those moments of uncomfortability with others, especially with those who hold opposing ideologies on racism, right? I always I kind of I watch those. I don't know. I feel kind of weird saying this, but I watch those Karen videos, right? The Karen videos who are just absurd, obnoxious, ignorant, right? And I believe, I sincerely believe that they're good for everyone because they're actually showing the social fabric being torn from I don't know, from an old way of thinking or the wrong way of thinking. Actually, you know, it's us rejecting those kind of racism ideologies and classism ideologies as well. I would even go further than saying that. But yeah, I think uncomfortability is necessary. I think you were completely right, and we need to kind of unify towards uncomfortability so we could, you know, assess what we need and what we want out of society, right? So I think you really hit the nail on that, Dr. Stella. So, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but unfortunately, it looks like we're running out of time for this event. But I want to perhaps, instead of going, it looks like Kristen has one more question, but I definitely want to go ahead and just do a quick round on what you guys want to perhaps speak your mind about right after Kristen's question. So we'll start with Jocelyn on that, you know, that lightning round. But go ahead, Kristen.
Yeah, so I just want to speak on what Dr. Stell said about being clear of what is right and what is wrong, because I feel like a lot of the time we're not listening to marginalized people, to Black people, to people of color, and we're trying to fill the void. We're trying to give our opinion or our interpretation, thinking that we're right, when in reality we should be listening to the people who are actually experiencing these events and who actually have to live every day in their skin. Unlike somebody like me, you know, I'm Chicano, but I have white skin, and that's something, you know, that's my own struggle. So I think listening to marginalized people, because we have public lynchings happening in the high desert 30 miles from me, and it's called a suicide, and there have been ruled suicides all over the nation. So, you know, that's not listening to marginalized people. That, you know, that's not at all. You're completely ignoring the fact. But my question to Jocelyn is this. Dr. Stell talked about, or you talked about co-opting, and Dr. Stell talked about divide and conquer. I feel like capitalism at its very core, as the foundation of our society, encourages and maintains racism at its finest. So I want to talk about co-opting. You know, I'm driving through the 10 freeway in LA, and I see, you know, big Black Lives Matter signs on the big shopping buildings that they paint it in front of the White House. But those are all symbolic. They're all performative. None of them are bringing us real change. We're not getting reparation checks. They're not sending checks to Black people who need it, who need actual money, who don't need somebody to shout for them on social media, because marginalized people have been shouting for 400 years. So Jocelyn, I want to talk to you about co-opting and how we can avoid it and how we can identify it and ensure that the voices who are experiencing these events are actually the ones who are speaking.
So let me put it this way. First and foremost, when we think about civil rights and how Dr. Stell talked about, it's been going on for a minute. People, you have to think about, do you really want it to end? Do you really want this systematic oppression to end? Do you really want racial injustice to end? Or do you want to benefit off of it? Do you want to become, you know, like benefit off it monetarily, you know, and keep it going so you can still continue to benefit off of it? And that's what capitalism plays, because they're over here, all these like, you know, people, they're writing Black Lives Matter everywhere. They're putting out their little Twitter posts, Black Lives Matter, but they're not really, they don't care. They truly don't care, and they truly are not here for the people or for the movement. I feel like if you are here for the movement and for the people, it will speak for itself. You know, we'll speak for ourselves. Like the work that we're doing is important work, and we're here for our community, by our community. We're not here for anybody else. We're not here to endorse anybody. We're not here to get fat paychecks. We're not here to become president of nothing. Like, I'm not president of nothing. Like, I'm just a person organizing because that's where my passion is, and I want it to end. You know, I don't want to benefit off of this and make money off of this. I want this to end. You know, that's where I stand with co-opting. I don't know if that's really answers your question or not, but
no, it does. You know, because I think just seeing pictures of Nancy Pelosi and a dashiki, and, you know, moving down, it's like, you know, you guys are the perpetuators of this system. You're the ones that are in control. You're the legislators, and according to this system, which is intended to be free for all men and women and all people on this nation, you're not upholding your end of the bargain. And when that happens, power to the people. It's time for us to take control. With that being said, I'm really sorry that we have to end these questions. I'm so sorry. But like Ismail said, let's go around to each of you. And what was your question again, Ismail, that you wanted to ask them?
So, I want them to kind of speak on whatever is on their mind. So, I think we should begin with Yoselin, and then Angel, and then Dr. Stell. If you guys can, in a very lightning round manner, go ahead and speak whatever that you think our audience and the public should know, basically. Yoselin, go ahead and just I'll give you like
of course.
minutes.
Okay, yeah. Free Lawrence Bender, first and foremost. Justice from Aside Cole. Check out our Instagram, our Facebook, and our Twitter. Our Instagram is Black Lives Matter IE. Check out our website at blmie.org. We have a Venmo, a Cash App, and a GoFundMe in order to keep feeding these families, in order to keep doing the work we do, paying these lawyers, and taking care of our own legal fees now. We're here for the community. Like I said, power to all the people. Fuck Chad Bianco and fuck Mike Hestrin.
Very cool. Thank you so much. And Angel, can you go ahead and speak whatever is on your mind?
Yes, of course. So again, thank you for allowing us to come to this event and speak on behalf of Queer Coalition. I want to say, of course, that like Black trans lives matter, and that every single day that we need to be doing the work to materially uplift Black trans and queer people. Right now, Queer Coalition is still in the process of redistributing a lot of funds that we've raised over the past few months. And additionally, I just want to finish off by saying, like, abolish police, abolish ICE, abolish, honestly, the state and the government. And I really want to encourage everyone to stay up to date with their local grassroots organizations, whether it's Queer Coalition or Black Lives Matter IE or Brown Berets or Inland Coalition for Immigrant Justice, Riverside All of Us or None, and then the NAACP, all these different organizations that are by and for people of color and marginalized communities. Get involved, do that direct action work, do that mutual aid work, because that's where our liberation comes, is from empowering ourselves and not giving our power away to these rich white capitalists that are controlling the world.
And Dr. Stell, do you have any last final words?
I would say that two things. Relay races are won by knowing who needs to carry the baton and when. We need all of us do something, get into space that you feel comfortable, knowing when you're uncomfortable to call the person that deals with that, connect, educate yourself. Remember, the victory's won because it's right. We have to be in it to win it, open up and start talking. We're starting an anti-racist group in Riverside. I didn't want to do it, but I'm doing it. Saturday's the first day. We're doing the first 2 chapters of Kendi's book. It will be posted on, I think it's on our Facebook. Not, I can send it to you. But I mean, this is wonderful. So a lot of people are going to be in the room, but we're going to be in small little breakouts. But you just got to know it takes all of us, each one of our communities, all of us.
And Dr. Stell, for our audience and the public at large, where can we find you and your work and the NAACP Riverside's work?
Okay, so in my name is this NAACP-Riv, basically. You type that in, it's going to come up, and our contact, our office number. But I will give you my number, any of you. I always say, call. I'm retired. 951-217-0055. 951-217-0055 is my personal cell. But we have a website, and then of course we have an office, and Sharon Lewis answers the phone. She usually calls me. But let's do this.
Right on, Dr. Stell.
And read.
Thank you so much.
Read.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes. I go ahead, Yoselin. How can people find you and Black Lives Matter IE. But go ahead and start with
Oh, yes.
what you want to say.
No, it's just one thing I just forgot to mention. Tomorrow we're having a press conference at the courthouse at 10 a.m.
Very
KUCR News will be there, and other media outlets will be there. So just calling for that. That's going to address the arrests that were made, illegal arrests that were made on Friday, July 31st. You can find us at Black Lives Matter IE. You can find me at Yose La Negra. It doesn't really matter. And at blmie.org has all information. So if you just go to blmie.org, you can find everything. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And then Angel, how can we maybe perhaps find your work or perhaps get involved with Queer Coalition?
Definitely. So as of right now, you can follow Queer Coalition on Instagram or Twitter. On Instagram, it's at queer.coalition, and Twitter is queer_IE. In terms of outreach, QC is currently working on some internal structuring and role definitions. And we're working on developing some trainings for what it looks like to organize with us and all the various different types of work that we do. Because we do community events, we do mutual aid work, we do educational work, all sorts of community-based organizing. So definitely our social medias is where you can keep an eye out for all those sort of updates. And if you've signed up for Queer Coalition, give us maybe a few more weeks before we reach out to you to start building our little queer familia.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Angel. I'm going to go ahead and just check in with my moderators. Is there any last final words from Kristen, Precious, or Snazzy Bazzy?
I just want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Can't tell you how much this means to us and to the community. We reached out to quite a few people, and we did get a lot of no's. So we really appreciate it, and we're very thankful for the people that we did get, because I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I think our viewers did, and I think it was very informative. And this will be on our YouTube, and we hope to make a audio version of this for air. But again, thank you so much for your continued work. The fight goes on until it ends, and power to all people.
Truly.
Precious, do you have any last final words?
Yeah, I definitely just want to echo Christian. Thank you all so much for being here. I love to see things like this happening, just because the most progress is made when we all come together to do this. So I'm so happy to have you all here. And this is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. And this fight will continue until all people everywhere are liberated. So thank you all so much. And just remembering that this work is hard work, but that doesn't mean it has to be sad, and it doesn't have to be sad and detrimental work. I'm smiling because it makes me happy to see people coming together to do this powerful and critical work. That makes me happy to see others fight for the liberation of others. So that's something to smile about, and this is work of love. It's a labor of love. So thank you all so much for being here again.
Thank you, Precious. How about you, Sarah Bastion?
Yeah, same thing everyone else said. Thank you guys so much for coming. It was such a liberating and refreshing and inspiring moment just to hear not only our speakers talk about these important issues, but to also be able to express things through art and music. Felt really like a really good moment of community, and I've personally missed seeing everybody so much. So it's been nice to just be able to join, even though it's virtual and everything. So thank you guys so much. And I know Yaslin said that Black Lives Matter IE has a podcast as well. It's called Black and Brown Underground on Instagram. So make sure to follow them. And yeah, thank you guys so much once again. It was really, really nice and much appreciated.
And thank you to all our artists and our poets and musicians. You guys are just as important in this fight.
100%.
You beat me to it, Christian. Perfectly said. And yeah, thank you again to everybody watching. Thank you to our participants. And please follow KUCR on social media at KUCR 88.3, excuse me, 88.3 FM. There's no point, but there is a point on the radio. But please go ahead and comment. Express how you feel and your thoughts on this event. It's kind of very different from our first FM Live, and if you guys want to see more of this kind of informative addition to the musical and cultural performances, please let us know, and we'll get more wonderful individuals and organizations from the community to speak to current issues. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much. I'm Commander Zerg, Ismael Gonzalez. We have Sarah Bazzi, Kristen Valdez, and Precious Fasikin joining me, and KUCR wishes you well. Thank you so much, guys. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.